Giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakwa Kodash. Why is Russia launching fresh new strikes on Ukraine? This is fair use, from the news for research purposes. Fair use for research purposes. Let's just get straight into it. Let it play.
A wave of Russian missile strikes on cities across Ukraine has sparked international outrage. The most widespread bombardment since the beginning of the war is in retaliation for Saturday's explosion on a bridge connecting Russia with occupied Crimea. Take a look at this. Well, this girl was watching it. This footage was captured close to the university as Ukrainian emergency services responded to the wounded. So far, 11 dead have been reported, 64 were wounded. Well, the district is also home to this playground. It and several museums, galleries and government buildings were damaged in the explosion. It is the first time that Moscow has targeted downtown Kyiv since the start of the war. The BBC has been...
I just want to speak on it a little bit. Pretty much what I'm getting from this, they hitting playgrounds and shit. So pretty much what I'm getting from this is it ain't even really started yet, They playing around, they kind of like two boxers, They just feeling each other out right now, moving around, might throw a jab here or there before the actual fight starts, probably around 4 or 5 or something like that. So this is pretty much nothing, but brothers been breaking it down. The information is pretty much out there, and people aren't crediting these things to the Bible of why this is happening, and they're trying to come up with reasons why this is happening. Well, really, it's because the Lord is a master chess player. The Lord is a master chess player, and he's setting them all up. So Russia is pretty much stuck, and Mystery Babylon is pretty much stuck, which is America. They have to go along with this war because it's more than just a war, just like physical. It's war on power, energy, and the dollar, the American dollar, which is what they use to control, So it's a war on a different fronts, So Russia can't give in, because if they give in and then Ukraine joins NATO or makes some type of deal with NATO, and then NATO gives them weapons, and if they possibly give them nukes, then you have nukes right there on Russia borders. So Russia have to win this war just for safety of their country, you know what I mean? And every time maybe they will come to the table with a peace agreement, but they can't, because every time you got this devil over here, that's attacking pretty much every single thing, if Satan be divided against Satan, how could his kingdom stand? So you have Satan divided against Satan, right? And the Lord is setting this up. And I think they said if it goes all on nuclear, 4 billion people could be put to death. You know what I mean? And it won't even take that long for that to happen. So we could possibly see that, these things bubble up, and then sometime they fizz down. And then sometime they bubble up until it bubble up out the pot. And that's what we waiting for, That's what we waiting to see. It's like, finally, is this it? But there's a lot of more stuff that has to happen. We see those other things with the MOTB. We see those other things starting to form right before our eyes, and them coming up, the persecution and everything against the Israelites. So you have to be a watchman. So we're going to start reporting on these things. But this is where the image stopped at. It's edifying to see, to show people that, look, when these when these superpowers, so-called superpowers, go to war, and they start dropping missiles and stuff, it's not just on military bases and targets, man. They dropping this shit on playgrounds, man. Hospitals, hotels, motels, museums, theaters and shit like that, man. That's what they dropping this shit on. And I could see right now in Mystery Babylon, when the missiles start dropping, you gonna have people out to eat. You gonna have people going to go watch Avatar in the theaters. You're gonna have people getting married and like in a wedding, you know what I mean, with their family and stuff around. You're gonna have people out at the club. You're gonna have people doing tours, and those missiles gonna start dropping because there's something called a normacy bias, meaning that no matter how bad it get, people just wanna act like things are normal. And this is what you have going on in Ukraine, in one of their cities, Kiev. This is what you have going on. Is pretty much they acting like everything was normal. And then all of a sudden missiles got to dropping on them. You know, they should be not too far away from shelter or some type of bunker until the war is over. You got people taking over. You got Russians that's inside of your country taking over on a war. But they still have that normacy bias, you know, and that's what being a watchman is you preparing people to get out of that normacy bias and telling them what's about to come, you know, that we could clearly see, you know. But like I said, when the missiles start dropping, it ain't just gonna be military bases, you know. This is gonna be hitting all type of shit, neighborhoods, man. You know, this is Ezekiel 38. They don't want to give the credit to the Lord, but eventually it's going to get so bad that they're going to have to give the credit to the Lord for why these things are happening. Why is this conflict happening? Because of the Lord, man. And then there's been reportings, which I'm going to put up a video, of a lot of chariot sightings over there in Ukraine. He said it's been a major uptick in chariot sightings. Of course, they say UFOs over there in the war, right? Because why? The Lord is controlling all of it, man, by the way of his angels. Ezekiel 38 verse 1. It says, and the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. We know Magog means the chief prince, right? It says, and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So don't ever get that fucked up. You know, the enemy of our enemy, don't make them our friend. You know, just because they going to play a major role in destroying the great horror mystery Babylon, don't mean that the Lord isn't against them too. The Lord is against them too. All Edomites, but this is the way that the Lord is moving his pieces on the chessboard, and we just got to play a part in it. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaw. So it's just like they can't come to the negotiating table, because every single time they might possibly, or there's talks about that happening, you got this devil over here in Mystery Babylon fucking it all up with attacking their pipelines, attacking their bridges, giving weapons and giving intel. So really they fighting NATO, but NATO's like kind of trying to say, nah, it's Ukraine fighting them, but really they really fighting NATO, because Ukraine is fighting Russia based off what? Off NATO weapons and shit. And Russia knows this. And they finna hit back, and they gonna do some shit back. So don't be surprised if you see an EMP attack on the Great Horror, and the lights go off and the water goes off. You know, man, our people is super mean. What did it say in Ezekiel 37? A valley of dry bones. They're fucking zombies, man. Go look at Jake right now, especially the Judites. Go look at them right now. They ain't worried about nothing that's going on with this motherfucking war. They don't care about it. They ain't thinking about it. They worry about going to work and going to the club on the weekend, man. They ain't worried about nothing that's going on. They don't. A lot of Jakes out there don't even know that the war is going on, man. They don't even know. All they worried about is Cardi B, what Cardi B said, what Nicki Minaj said, you know, and the rest of them. Whoever's big right now that's popping off, Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. That's all they worried about. No, matter of fact, I'm tripping. The girl, Glorilla. That's all they worry about is what Glorilla just did, or what her next song gonna be and her success. I want her to be so successful. Not knowing that the whole fucking system finna come down, man. And they gonna be unprepared. That's that normacy bias, right? Verse 5, it says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmets. They don't know that all these nations are coming together. You know, and they finna come up against this great horror. It says, Gomorrah and all his bands, in the house of Tagahar, in the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. These different nations with these allies. And you're gonna have a lot of allies that's allies with America that's gonna switch. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's what's about to happen. So you see other cities, Belarus finna join. You see, what's that? Poland. I think so. I think so. You have to fact check me on that. They finna join you know. And then little by little, these nations are finna start putting their foot into the World War III until it's just all out, blown out, all hell. And then there ain't no turning back when that happens, man. Because you gotta see it through to the end so you can win. Ain't no turning back when it's happening. We right here, man. So we believe that this could possibly be it, the tipping of the scales. You know, this could possibly be the time, and that's why all the brothers is on fire right now, putting up the videos, going into precepts like this, Ezekiel 38. But like I said, at one certain time, they gonna have to get a credit to the Lord for why this is happening, and they gonna think about that. And then guess who they can't touch the Lord, so guess who they gonna take it out on? That's when that persecution come. They gonna come for us, like it says in Matthew 24. Ye should be hated for the Lord's name's sake. That's coming. Don't think that the end's gonna come without that coming. That's gonna come. You know, it's coming, man. But this is coming too right here. Verse 13, Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it was rolled together. So what is this talking about? These talking about these nuclear weapons, man. The heavens departed as a scroll. That's a mushroom cloud. It says, and every mountain and island were moved out their places. And the kings of the earth, your Putins, your Bidens, but really even the guys behind the scenes that's bigger than them that wear the small little hats on the top of their head and shit with the funny little dread things on the side. You know. And the heavens departed as the scrolls rolled together, and every mountain and the islands were moved out their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks and the mountains, and said unto the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Why? Because the Lord is going to be credited with destroying this place, man. It says, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who should be able to stand? So the first death was the great flood during the time of Noah. The Lord promised that he would never destroy it by water again. That's what the rainbow represents. So the second death, he said this was going to be by fire and brimstone, man. But that fire and brimstone, he gave the world the technology to create a weapon called a nuclear weapon, whether it be a hypersonic, supersonic, where it be a low cruise, where it be off a torpedo. It's a nuclear weapons. The Lord gave them that technology to split atoms and shit to cause nuclear weapons and shit like that, because that's where his second death is going to come, by fire and brimstone. That's why the Bible speaks about Armageddon, which is no different than World War III. It speaks about the three woes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. World War III, World War I, World War II, World War III. It speaks about that. It speaks about the armies of the earth, man, fighting against one another. So this is clearly pointing to what? Nuclear missiles being used. That's what's going to destroy the earth this time. That's why they're here. That's why the Lord gave man the technology to create these things, because they're for an appointed time and they're going to be used. And that's what's going to bring the destruction, especially of Mystery Babylon, man, and in our land over there, Jerusalem. Joel 3 verse 1, it says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, he gonna take us out. It says, but also gather all nations, and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh judgment, and will plead with them, because he's gonna judge them there. How is he gonna plead with them? By judging them. With them there for my people and for my heritage, who they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. So why is he doing this? Didn't he say for his vengeance? His vengeance for what? Here, let me see. His people. For what y'all did to his people, man. Here, let me see. If I can find this. Nope. No. I cannot find that precept. But, you know, the Lord is going to plead with them by doing what? By destroying them. By judging them for what they did to his people. You know, so y'all think the shit's funny, persecuting us. And that they going to ramp up on that. You know, it's Revelation chapter 12. Behold, the devil should come down upon you with great wrath. You know, taking our hard work that we work hard with to edify our people and wake our people up. You taking that work down off the internet and shit like that, man. Y'all think it's funny and it's a game, but look, man, we gonna have the last laugh, man. When we see them troops getting drafted and they going over there to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, we know they not fucking returning, man. When we see them stars in the sky and they twinkling and they getting closer and closer and they coming down, we know that it's all with. And what everybody gonna be doing? Crying, holding each other, and they gonna be calling on who? Calling on God. Oh my God, God help us. But not even knowing that it's gonna be the Lord that's gonna be the one responsible for bringing them goddamn nukes down on Mystery Babylon. So that's coming, you know. With that one, say salvation to the elect. Shalom.